Welcome to Oslo. In today's video, it's all about trying new things. I've just had a beetroot cappuccino and an avocado and tuna sandwich, which was really good. But we're trying Lufthansa, which I know is not necessarily the most interesting of choices when they're brand new Allegris on the A350.
For those who have no idea what I'm on about, Lufthansa's business class is in serious need of an update. A 232 configuration just doesn't cut it in today's world, even if the service is excellent. So Lufthansa came up with their Allegris product, which needs to say has been a long time coming and a little complicated. More on that later in the video. Before we even get on board, we need to make a connection from Oslo to Munich, where at the time of filming all their planes that feature Allegris are operating from. They don't even have first class yet, which has caused a little oddity which the aviation community is obsessed with. Just a little bit of info, at the time of filming, SAS, which is part of Star Alliance, alongside Lufthansa, has now switched to SkyTeam, but it will still allow me access. I suspect this is because the third-party lounge here already has a very extensive list of airlines and just can't take any more.
So welcome to Munich. I don't think I really have time to go to the lounge. If I do, that'll be magic. If not, I'll just have a look on the way back.
Much like Frankfurt, Munich International Airport can be a little bit of a maze, but eventually I managed to find a lounge close enough to the departure gate. It was pretty busy in there, but it was certainly pleasant. I even managed to get a comfortable lounge chair with a huge pretty picture on the wall of the Airbus A380 flying over some pretty mountains. Which reminds me, maybe you won't see on the flight because of the timings, but some of the prettiest vast snowy landscapes can be found on this route in the northwest of China.
So to be completely honest, it's not a bad lounge. It's not very big and it was pretty crowded, which is why I didn't record. Anyway, time for the map and then it's off to the flight.
LH726 departs at 22:10, which is perfect to try and get at least a few hours of sleep, with a journey time of 11 hours and 40 minutes over to Shanghai Pudong International Airport. Before we board, I'm considering the complexity of the Allegris seating, and there's a problem. When it comes to the booking process and last minute allocations, I have no idea how Lufthansa is going to deal with this.
So just before we board, there's a few things to discuss. Lufthansa's kind of made this a bit of a difficult business class because they have 5 different types of seat as you'll see on board. But the question is, how do you market that? How do you even check in? Because if you haven't selected the seat during the booking process or even online, which one are you allocated, considering that I think there'll be a different price point for each? Lots of questions.
At the time of filming, the A350s do not feature first class, so the first group to board is business class Honour Circle Senator alongside Star Alliance Gold members. And now we get to the interesting part of the seat map, which I'll keep as simple as possible because it gets very complicated. Row 1 should be the amazing and very spacious first class seat, which will be absolutely revolutionary in a similar way to Emirates' game changer first class, and even a couple can share the middle seat. In the meantime, there is the oddity, which is a single row of economy, and passengers are forbidden to use that. The next best place to sit is rows 2 and 8, with the preference on the windows because they have so much more room. Complete with doors and extremely high walls, this is as private and luxurious as you can get without being in first class. These products are manufactured by Stelia and are 21 inches in width, have temperature controls and even designed to reduce the effects of turbulence, combined with a 24-inch 4K in-flight entertainment screen and 2 meters in length in the bed mode. Lufthansa does a really good job to define these seats and make them that little bit more special. So they even come with a few optional extra drinks and even its own special menu. What's not to like? What I can't help but wonder is currently these can be booked for no additional cost. But when they have enough in the sky, what will be the extra cost to book these suites? 7 Alpha and Kilo then become my next favourite, with a really long side table and lots of extra space. Depending on your preference, you could then argue that rows 3, 5, 9 and 11 Echo are great for privacy, occupying the space of 2 seats, but they also lack a window. And probably not great if you suffer from claustrophobia. As a result, rows 3, 5, 9 and 11 Alpha then become my next choice, and this happens to be where I was seated from Munich to Shanghai. I'll leave it to you to decide whether there are 5 or 7 types of seat on board, with the remaining 2 being the ones I would avoid. Unless you're travelling with a friend, in which case the even numbers in the middle even rows are perfect. Otherwise, despite the divider, best avoided. Which brings us to the worst and I guess cheapest option once Lufthansa sorts out pricing system. So avoid 4, 6, 10 and 12 in the C and H rows, because they're close to the aisle, not great for privacy and there's a severe lack of windows. I couldn't resist exploring the rest of the plane, and maybe I'll fly this in the near future. The premium economy product is pretty sound, with 19.5 inches of width, 39 inches of pitch and a 7-inch recline. There's also a generous 15.6 inch 4K touchscreen, even coming with USB-A and C charging points in a 232 layout. Economy isn't quite as roomy as premium economy, with 18 inches of width, 31 inches of pitch and 2 inches less recline. But I was really impressed with the large 13.3 inch 4K touchscreen in a 333 layout. Maybe I won't rush to fly this one.
Have to say, first impressions, the walls are not as high as I thought they would be. Obviously in the flat mode, this is really private.
What I didn't realise at this point is how lucky I would be flying back from Shanghai, getting to grab one of the business suites at the very front. It's not that 11 Alpha is a bad seat in any way, it's brand new, but the suites just give so much more room, privacy and a more premium experience.
Let's take a look around the seat.
What makes a real difference is that the seats aren't angled towards the footwell, so it's square and really lovely and unrestricted. Most business class seats have some sort of side table, but storage can be an issue. Not with Allegris because they have this very wide storage unit, which also houses the headphones and a water bottle. Becoming a standard and it's wonderful, there are plenty of charging ports for various devices with whatever kind of cable you brought with you. And important with the side table to my right and the staggered layout, the space feels really private and not in any way overlooked. Also, the seat is really comfortable. Allegris is all about the passenger experience, so each seat has a large removable touchscreen remote control, which can do many things. Pair your headphones, change the language, you name it. Unfortunately, during the flight, the cabin was just too warm to sleep, and there's no air nozzles above you. However, the problem is solved because there's an air nozzle, and I think this is probably a first, is built into the panel next to you. I genuinely think this is a really good product, although I'm not exactly sure why Lufthansa felt the need to have so many seat variations. They could have just had 2 like other airlines, who also utilise the space at the front for a premium product. It certainly could be a logistical nightmare, especially when the plane swap happens, and everyone has booked a specific seat. The cabin crew handed out this little paper bag, which contains mixed nuts. The slippers are fine, but they're not as premium or fluffy as the ones in first class. And there was a blue bag hanging on the seat which contains the duvet, with a matching pillow that mimics Lufthansa's new look. There was a drawstring bag amenity kit. What I've done with it, I have no idea. Personally, I think unless it's jaw-droppingly good, we probably shouldn't bother in 2025, on the grounds of environmental reasons. But if you need things, there are plenty of items in the onboard bathroom. I was also offered a welcome drink, but I don't really know what it is and I didn't want to ask twice. It's pretty good though, as is the one from Shanghai, which is stronger and a little bit eye-watering.
Herzlich willkommen.
Welcome aboard.
Wir bitten Sie, sich mit den Sicherheitsvorkehrungen vertraut zu machen.
We will now show you the safety features of this aircraft.
With the clock ticking away and only 10 hours until we reach Shanghai, it's time to have dinner, which starts off with a lovely hot refreshing towel, followed by a small and simple but extremely tasty mix of olives, cheese and a sun-dried tomato. Every good meal should be paired with a nice drink, so to hydrate my throat I fancied a tea, which comes in this slightly unusual but Lufthansa branded porcelain teacup, and a glass of Riesling because, well, I have a sweet tooth. The starter comes with a healthy green salad, accompanied by olive oil and vinaigrette. But it's the specialty bread that makes me think someone was thinking, how can I elevate the meal? And the smoked salmon with mole spice, basil, apple cream and marinated kohlrabi with pickled radish was as good as it looks. For the main, with the other option being pasta and a dish I had no idea what it was, I felt compelled to choose the traditional roast goose, which comes with red cabbage and potato dumplings. Loved the goose, loved the potato, cabbage, I can probably leave. Does my stomach have room? No. But do I want the chocolate hazelnut cake with blueberry and raspberry ragu? Of course I do. In actual fact, it was lighter than air, so I didn't have the eater's regret afterwards. It probably shouldn't be a surprise that with a brand new plane, Lufthansa took the opportunity to redesign their interface. It certainly looks good in 4K and has nice, large, crisp buttons that fit the space really well. There are endless amounts of content to watch with all the new coming Hollywood movies, so leave the Netflix downloads at home. And you can even pair your own Bluetooth headphones to the system if you prefer. And much like the control pad, you can control pretty much everything about the seat from the in-flight entertainment screen. How useful is that? Just a note, the headphones are good, but they become uncomfortable because they sit on the ear and not over it, so I suggest you bring your own. Just before I go to sleep, I need to use the bathroom, but I just need to point out that while you may not have a choice of the route or the airplane, the Airbus A350s are really quiet, and I didn't get that rumble of the engine you get sometimes when you put your ear to the pillow. This could be one of the nicest airplane bathrooms I've ever visited. The lighter fake wood panels break up the room from an otherwise beige white tiny room, and L'Occitane is a great choice for body lotion. Bearing in mind that we land at 16:50, the afternoon seems an odd time to serve breakfast. But it does make a change from egg, sausage and tomato, which quite frankly is boring. The options for breakfast were either a mushroom pancake or a curd crepe with apple compote. No guesses which I picked. Okay, those aren't mushrooms, which also comes with a creamy yogurt with berry and granola and a selection of breads, rolls, croissants, butter, honey and jam. I suspect the reason for the cute little chocolate bar that I'd love to take home but ultimately will probably eat after the crepe is because of my second cup of tea. There might appear to be a severe lack of non-sugar items, but somehow this meal was pretty filling, without making you feel bloated. Usually, and I state usually, airlines cut costs where they can, and I don't know if Lufthansa was having a clear out of the cupboards, but after the meal, which is usually where people stop eating, they offered me a box of Lindt chocolate, an ice cream, a large chocolate Santa which I had no choice but to turn down, and then a smaller box of white chocolate. Ambulance at the ready, that's just too much. With beautiful blue skies and Shanghai sitting comfortably below us, I'm going to tell you exactly why I think this is such a good flight from the comfort of the Cathay Pacific Lounge.
So I'm just in the Cathay Pacific Lounge at Shanghai because I'm travelling on to Hong Kong now to do our videos of local places, which is on our brand new channel, Lift Up and Explore. Allegris as a product is really good. Even if you get the aisle seat, I still feel like it's not a problem because when you compare it to the old one, it was in like a 222. The cabin crew were just beautifully German, so efficient, so friendly, so wonderful. And the food, again, pretty good. Not amazing, but very tasty. Perhaps it's just a personal thing. I just wonder in terms of pricing how they're going to do it, because you've got 5 to 7 different variants of the same seat, and that's a logistical nightmare. But that's something for them to worry about. For you guys, it just means if you want your favourite seat, you might have to pay a little bit extra. Very excited to fly it back at the end of this trip. Otherwise, thanks again for supporting us and for following us on our journeys.